Hey everybody, welcome to Multiplane Podcast. I'm Val.
I'm Ty. We have missed you guys.
We have. It has been a minute. Episode 35, and because we have not been here for a minute, we have so much to cover that it's pretty much, we're just covering all the things today. We're going to talk about all of the Disneyland news, all the Disney movie news, the Disney television show news. Then, of course, we are going to get into the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Because yesterday's episode, Ty, I'm going to say it right now, and I know we'll get into it later. There was a moment in the show, well, two moments actually, where I actually jumped up. I was like, oh, what? It was, I know this isn't your favorite, but I am loving it.
Are you really? Well, wait. I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. Man, but okay. Yeah, you can send your hate mail to movie or multiplanepodcast@gmail.com because Ty does not like this show at all. So
not
yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I'm watching it for your guys' sake.
So you're doing it for us?
I'm doing it for you guys so that I can answer any questions and further my, theories and whatnot that's going into this next phase.
Well, big day, because this week, if you wanted to buy your tickets at Disneyland, you could have gotten online, and for 12 hours, you could have sat in a virtual line and picked up your tickets to actually go to the most magical place on Earth in a couple of months.
Yeah, I'm on it right now.
Are you?
I'm cute. I'm in right now. I have the package deal set up.
I had friends that were on it for 12 hours.
But yeah, mine took less than a minute today. So
well, that's because you didn't go on the first day they started.
The initial day. I know, and they ended up breaking the internet.
Yeah, no, the website crashed a few times, which is, I think it's a good sign.
Yeah.
When that happens. So when are you going?
We're looking at September. You know me.
You're going during FanX.
I don't know if it'll be exactly FanX. I'm gonna make sure it's. I think we're going after.
Because I have plans for you during FanX.
I know. We are doing FanX. It's happening this year. I'm just good vibes. Stuff has to happen this year. Okay.
I literally there was a comedy show that Dave and I want to go see. And we did not pick the weekend of FanX to go to Denver, which was, where I'm from, to go. Instead, we we got our tickets for the weekend after, and we're going to go to Vegas to see it. But we are all of us that are FanX fans. We're so excited that the convention is going to be back. I got my second shot today, so I got my double dose in, so my body's going to start shutting down in about 45 minutes. Just kidding. I took my Tylenol. I took my regimen all week of all the vitamins and everything, so I'm hoping that because the first one kicked my butt, that this one just I'm tired for a little bit. And then Sammy was sick, my daughter was sick for 24 hours, and that was it, and now she's up and running around, so I'm hoping that's it. But a lot of us are getting our upgrades to help herd immunity. So thank you for doing that. If that's what you're doing, you have been out serving food, and I missed it because the last time I went to see you, we finally got to try the meat pie. I was supposed to try the vegetarian pie. That didn't work out, but that's okay. The meat pies were delicious, but you had on the menu a freaking Hawaiian burger, which is my favorite type of burger. And I have been waiting to have a delicious Hawaiian burger for years because there used to be a place called Goosey's downtown. And my dad knew the owner, and they had the best Hawaiian burger. But I didn't want to be such a pig when I saw you. I should have gotten it. I've been regretting it ever since, right? So now I'm when is he going to be out? When I can go? Yeah. So let everybody know. You'll have to post it on our Facebook page too when you're going to be out, so people can support you as well.
I'll be there next week.
You are?
Yeah.
What day?
Next Saturday we'll be at Soho Food Park in Holiday.
Okay, I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna bring peeps. We're all gonna be there. Are you gonna
Cool.
have the Hawaiian burger?
Oh, of course, Jess. I'm
Okay.
gonna make sure I have it just so that I'm telling you right now, it'll be your favorite
Yay!
pineapple burger you've ever
Okay,
had.
I'm super excited, super excited. All right, so did you get your Disneyland passes? Are you going? We want to know how long did it take you. I have not gotten mine yet because, of course, everybody knows I'm planning a wedding, but I am. Like I told Dave, I'm going this year, even if it's for 1 day or 2 days. I'd like to go in November. That's my favorite time to go, is the week after Thanksgiving. And so
that's your guys' tradition too, that you typically.
We used to do that a lot. Last year we broke the tradition and went on New Year's, which was a lot of fun as well.
But yeah, you got to do fun stuff.
Yeah. So, but I would really like to go like a little bit after the wedding. That gives us a little bit of time. So like November, December. But yeah, I'm excited. Are you just like, this is good news?
Like I've been looking at packages. I'm also kind of playing it by ear. So right now, if you guys aren't aware, it's just California residents only.
There's a tier. There's 5 tiers of times and ticket prices and who can get in. So yeah.
So right now, I'm just playing it by ear. Technically, the people who I'm looking to get my tickets through, I could buy them, and then there's like a additional package that you can buy that if, say we want to go in September, end of September when Halloween goes up. If it's still just California only, we can put a pause on that, move it to a different date.
Yeah.
But right now we're looking at September.
Nice.
We really want to go do our Halloween trip, and I think there's 50-50. Like some people say, oh, there's no way they'll do their Halloween party. And I'm like,
I mean, I think they'll have a version of it. I don't think they're going to cancel it altogether. Disney is really great at, it's not going to be the same as what you've had, but I like it when they switch things up. I like, if I'm going to go back to the park, that it's going to be a little different. So I think they'll have a version of it, but I don't think it'll be the same as it was.
But here's the thing, is that for the trick-or-treating, you don't touch the candy at the end of the trail tree anyways. Like you have someone dropping stuff into your bag. So we're like, it wouldn't be very different from the actual, party that we have done.
Yeah, honestly, I think whatever happens, it will be probably a lot more efficient than it was before, because they've got to think about all these things. So I think it's going to be great no matter what, because I mean, the park was always clean, but now it's going to be way cleaner. They're not going to go back to full capacity for a while. So I think that's going to be great. The different tiers start or stop on June 15th. So all these 5 different tiers of different pricing and who can get into the park, that ends on June 15th. And so then after that, anybody can get in if you have the pre-reservation. You can no longer just walk up to the gate, buy a ticket, and go in. So if you're thinking about that's what you're going to do, that's not going to go back, I don't think, for a really long time. One, I think this is really a great thing that you have to think in advance to go, because they can still, even when they go back to full capacity, they can still monitor how many people are coming into the park every day. And I think that's good for everyone. I don't know if you've ever been there when it's been over capacity where they've had to send people out of the park. That is not a fun time. I've been there twice during that time, and it's just not fun. The first time I went, I was there with a radio thing where they had all of the media. I don't know if you've ever been there when they've had media up and down. But they set up like all the TV and radio people up and down the sidewalks, both in California Adventure and in Disneyland Park. And they did that. And I was there when they reopened Big Thunder Mountain Railroad after they had made the changes. And that's when Sammy and I, it was the only time we've ever stayed in a Disneyland hotel, because they paid for it, right? They paid for me to go out there. I paid for Sammy to fly. That was it. They paid for the hotel, the tickets, everything. And we got to go into the park before it opened because we had to do the radio show. And then they gave us special tickets and walked us onto a lot of the rides because we were there specifically for that. That's the only way I would have done that, because that was also, it's the weekend they opened Big Thunder Mountain Railroad again. So everybody's there to see the new one. Yeah. They also had a cheerleading competition and a band competition going on at the same time during spring break. Like I would have never paid to go there
For
during
spring
that
break.
time
No way.
ever. And it was totally crowded. Sammy spent most of her time over in California Adventure in the drawing studio when they teach you how to cartoon, because it's just really quiet. She stayed out of the way. That was also pretty close to, they just opened new rides, the Cars rides at California Adventure. So it was just a packed weekend. And then the other time I went, when did we go? It was when Rogue One opened, and we actually saw it in the theater in downtown Disney. And we actually went to watch it that day because the parks were overflowed.
Oh.
And we could not get in. And then when they let us in, Sammy's anxiety, because she has anxiety when it comes to big crowds, was so bad that we couldn't go back in. So this was so great. This is what I loved about Disneyland so much. At 2:30 in the afternoon, we went over to customer service and we said, it's too crowded for us. Like, my daughter has anxiety. We didn't know it was going to be this way. And they refunded all of our tickets. And that's with no, like, we didn't have to argue with anyone. She said, no, today is really bad. I really apologize. We spent the time in downtown Disney and everything. But she said, that's when I got the thing of, you need to come on New Year's Day, because everybody just came for Christmas and New Year's Eve and everything. She said New Year's Day is dead. The least amount of people in the park. So that's where I got that idea, was from this awesome customer service lady. And it was a really good time. But because the Star Wars stuff had just opened months earlier, I think it was a little more crowded than it would have been. But it's still like, we got on Star Wars rides twice in one day. Like, we got through everything. Of course, Peter Pan is always the longest line ever, no matter what. Like, it could be nobody at the park, but everybody's at Peter Pan. I feel like. But yeah, just that's what I love about Disneyland, is that you could stop any of their cast members and just say, hey, what are your recommendations for things? And they have no problem talking to you, giving you recommendations, letting you know some secrets. And I feel like a lot of people don't take advantage of talking to cast members. Like, it's
for sure.
Like, you should totally talk to cast members when you can. Any of them. It doesn't matter, from janitorial staff all the way up to customer service. Like, just talk to them and they'll be totally fantastic to you.
But the one weird thing, and this is probably just because, of course, I'm not a California resident, I'm on the website right now trying to look at, because what you have to do is you'll have to purchase a park ticket and then reserve the slot for the park that you want to go to that day. It's not letting me reserve a time. So they definitely have geocoded it to where if you're
not going to be able to do that until
do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at it right now, and you actually can't even reserve a day. It doesn't go past June. So you said that date was June or July?
June 15th is when the 5 tiers go down. And so if you go on their website, it'll give you the dates of each tier, who can get in during those tiers, and what the price is, because the price goes up substantially as you go through the 5 tiers. Because they're opening up more of the park, they're allowing more people into the park. And so that's what happens. But I think, they've got it as much under control as they can. And I love the fact that they're trying this time out to locals and to people that, so if you had purchased tickets and you were, you had to cancel your trip during COVID, you can reschedule that trip right now. That's one of those tiers. So only the people that had your ticket that was during, when they were closed down during COVID, they're trying to get those people back and through as quickly as possible, plus residents. But I like that. They're trying things out. They're going to work through and figure out what works and what doesn't work. And by the time you and I get to go, I feel like it's going to be like seamless,
Yeah.
And by the time we get to go as well, like a huge amount of our population in the United States will have their vaccine. And so I think there's going to be a lot of things that are open. There's not going to be a lot that is closed still. I do like that they have streamlined like the food ordering during this COVID, so that you can order your food in advance while you're in line, go walk and pick it up instead of standing in these long lines to get food. I love that. There's a lot of things I hope they keep. And I think they're excited about that.
And that's the thing with your food and even some of the merchandise, where it's like do everything digitally. I don't think that's going to be going away.
No.
I think that's going to become
I think that was
the
supposed
new.
that was probably already in the lineup, but COVID pushed it to happen sooner. So, I mean, there were a lot of good things that came out of it. I know like a lot of people are just frustrated with it, and I get it, but because things had to shut down and people had to be creative, I think a lot of things that we're going to enjoy now, doing these live events, going to concerts, going to Disneyland, all that kind of stuff, there's going to be a lot of things that are a lot better than what we had before. So, some weird news is that Disney is actually they're going through a lawsuit from the Predator franchise. Did you hear about this?
No, what is
going on?
The Predator
franchise is now locked in a lawsuit involving Disney. This just came out yesterday, so it's brand new news. And I thought you were a Predator fan, so I thought we would talk about this.
Like Predator.
So according to the Hollywood Reporter, Jim and John Thomas, who wrote the 1987's Predator, have filed a lawsuit against 20th Century Studios over the copyrights of the sci-fi action classic. And as you know, who owns 20th Century Studios now?
Disney.
So they get everything that goes along with it. The brothers allegedly filed the suit to exploit a copyright termination provision. The biggest push was the rights to their original Predator script titled Hunters. Have you heard of this?
No.
Reportedly expiring on April 17th, the loophole would allow the brothers to cancel any transfers 35 years after creating the original script. So there's something going on. I guess their original script that they wrote is called something else. They don't want to lose the copyright to that. And now that there's this loophole, especially because Disney has purchased all of the rights, that says that they have a huge fight on their hands because Disney's 20th Century Studio filed a countersuit against them. The countersuit is reportedly a way for the House of Mouse to keep the franchise under the ever-expanding film roster from them purchasing the studios. So for me, this is what I think. I think this first original, all these original stories that are going to be coming out about this are of course going to make Disney look bad. Disney knows what's going to make them money. And for me, I feel like they're going to come up with a way to get the brothers what they want, while they also get to make these movies with them and make some money and expand the rights. There's no way that they're just going to take this movie or these rights away from the original writers. That's not how I think Disney works, because of course they want to keep expanding what they have and what they own. And so why wouldn't they? I mean, this is a huge franchise that people love. If you're a fan of these franchises, then you want to see more Predator. And if there's an original script that you haven't seen yet that was written before, you want to, right? You're excited, right? And Disney knows this. They're not stupid. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I don't see them being like, get out of here, writers. We're just going to take this from you. And I don't see. If it does, I'll eat my words, but I just don't see that happening.
No, that's obviously they can get some of that Disney money behind them and streamline a whole new story for it. So that's interesting though. This is the first I've heard about it.
Yeah, it's more than one lawsuit. There's also a lawsuit because 20th Century Studios, I guess, had all of these different contracts, and so there's another one. 10 Cloverfield Lane director. He was on the helm for the 5th Predator installment, I guess.
Okay.
There's a whole bunch of people involved in the new Predator movies, and so now there's a whole handful of people that are along that they have to deal with. So we'll see what happens, but that's not something I thought I was going to read yesterday morning when I was like, what? Predator Disney? But I keep forgetting now Disney owns all of these
Fox.
Yeah. 20th Century. Yeah. What do you got going on?
Well, let's see. I'm just trying to read through some others. So Disney World, kind of shocking. They are removing some of their like safety features. Like they're removing the hand washing sinks. One that I like, and this is just whatever. I understand if we have to wear the masks in the park.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest thing though is I want to take pictures and not
and
be like, I want to say cheese and actually not have this and be like,
Yeah. And I do
So,
think by the time you and I get to go, that will be a little bit of a different thing.
and right now in Disney World, that's you can, take pictures without your masks now.
Nice. I
Um,
do understand why the hand washing stations all over the park would go away. Honestly, though, I think we're still going to see a ton of hand sanitizing stations.
yeah.
Hand washing stations, they're really bulky. It's a lot to take care of.
Well,
And honestly, it's a little more dirty once you get more and more people into the park. Keeping those hand washing stations clean and then the lines that will be behind it, that's actually worse than having people go into restrooms that can, they're a time where they can be cleaned. But just having the hand sanitizing stations throughout
just
that
yeah.
take up a lot of room. People just wash your hands. People stay clean. Like that's as easy as it needs to be.
But let's see what other.
I didn't know if you heard this one, but the first look at female Captain Rex droid to pilot the transport between Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel has been revealed.
Really?
So I don't know if you've seen the first look, if you want me to bring up my screen so
Go ahead
that
and
you
pull up that
can
image.
see this.
Let's
can't
see
believe I found something before you. Okay, let me see if I can share my screen here. Share screen, Chrome, Rex. So this is the first look. Can you see that?
Okay, we're gonna let Rex captain a ship again. I thought we learned our lesson from Star Tours, and since
but this is female. This is the female version. So.
It's a Rex model, okay? Obviously, Rex models just weren't good. That's why there's a DJ in one of the cantinas now that's a Rex bot, and they're no longer piloting the ships on Star Tours. So I thought we learned our lesson, but obviously not.
We want the antics to keep going. So that's the first look at the female Rex. And that I just thought you, would have already seen that already. Yeah. But that's okay. I'm happy. There was a lot of news this week. That's why we're doing this episode. There's just a lot being dumped
out. Guys, so aside from we'll get in. I'll plug this in. We'll do this. So
okay.
Me and Val got to go to the movie theaters recently.
We did.
This gets me so excited to go back and just start seeing some of these movies that are coming out.
What did you see?
So we saw Godzilla versus King Kong, which was.
I get to go see Mortal Kombat on Tuesday at 2:00. Oh. I'm gonna be on Good Things Utah Friday talking about Mortal Kombat. So
cool. Yeah. But one of the trailers in Godzilla that I'm super excited for was a film that kind of got pushed back, Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
And actually had some extra footage in it that we haven't seen before. And it almost gave us. Me and Val were talking about this. If you go watch the latest Jungle Cruise trailer, it's given off some serious Pirates of the Caribbean vibes, and I'm like, ooh, okay. I was excited for this before, but now I'm like super invested.
Yeah. I mean, when I heard that it was coming out, I was like, okay. I mean, it kind of hits like that Jumanji vibe for me, and I'm like, I really enjoyed the first Jumanji, the remake. No. I enjoyed the first one. The second one was okay. And then I saw this one and I'm like, okay, it kind of gives me the vibes. Like if they never made the movie, I would have been fine with it. But the fact that they came up with making the movie, I'm just excited for a good movie experience. I don't have any huge expectations for it. But you know how much I love The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who could be our next president. If you follow
the stuff, the news. 46% of the country. Yeah. So I just get excited about when Disney takes one of their original concepts and gives it to a new form of media.
Yeah.
So like when Pirates of the Caribbean came out, that ride is amazing.
And the movies are so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haunted Mansion will not get into that. I mean, I want better. Did you just spit up your water?
I think I just spit my water.
Anyways,
if you're listening to this instead of watching it live, I just spit my water in my cup because we've talked about this before on the show. Like that movie we deserve better. We deserve better.
We can get so much better with Haunted Mansion. And then I think, you know what? I really wish we could get some kind of cool story with Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Yeah.
We could do a really cool Western with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited. I hope, and I was saying this on Movies That Make Us on an episode that's coming out Monday, is that I really want for when Black Widow comes out for you and me and all of our Stolen Droids family to just be able to be in the theater together for Black Widow.
Yeah.
I think that would be so much fun. So
Not hyped, but I will be there. I have
but
to
I
be
just think
there.
we all need to be there. Like I just
Yeah.
think it would be so much fun. So I'm gonna try and make that happen. But yeah, I'm excited that because I've been going back to the theater for a couple of months now. This wasn't
Yeah.
my first time back, and I really believe in seeing movies on the big screen. And I got to tell you, if I would have seen Godzilla at home for the first time on HBO Max, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much as I did
It would
seeing it
not
on the
have been
big
the
screen. Like
same.
Dave and I were high-fiving each other. There were moments in that movie we were like, are they really going to do this? They're doing it. And we're like high-fiving and we're just having so much fun. There's something, I love the fact that I can stay at home and watch a lot of movies in my pajamas in my bed. That makes me super happy. But there is something about going to a theater for specific movies and being able to see those on the big screen. Like I don't know what would have happened if we would have had to see the new Doctor Strange movie not in a theater. I
No.
can't even think about not seeing that on the big
I
screen. Like I would start a petition.
I have to see Multiverse of Madness
Yeah.
on a giant screen. What's even like you were saying, so me and my brother were the ones who went and seen Godzilla versus Kong, and we're
Yeah.
both, Team Godzilla. So every time, we'd have those moments where we're like, oh, it's about to go down. This is about to happen. Yeah. So
Yeah,
no,
Dave is Team Godzilla, I'm Team Kong, and Team Kong took the whole movie, so you can
Team
argue with
Kong
me all
learned their
day
lesson by the end of the movie. We'll say
long.
that.
But yeah, so I'm excited to see that movies are coming back, and I really like that Disney has put their foot down and said there are some movies that will only be in theaters before they start streaming. And a lot of other movie studios has done that as well because they do want to help the movie theaters make their money back, because there are still people that, I get it, you don't want to leave your house yet, you're not ready to go to the movie theater, but in order for us to keep getting the movies that we want to get, these film studios, they've got to make
Have
money.
to get their money
And
back.
these movie theaters need to make money. There's I don't want it to go away yet. I'm not ready for the theater experience to go away. I think it's way too important.
I don't think a lot of people are, because so let me explain this real quick. I'm surprised that I got our tickets to Godzilla.
Okay.
Because opening weekend for Raya, guys, 5 different show times within a 2-day period of opening weekend. I tried to get tickets for, sold out. I couldn't even get in.
Yeah. Well, Utah ranks usually number 2 in the nation for all of these big movies. I know it did for Raya. I know it did for Kong versus Godzilla. Is that Megaplex theaters ranked number 2 in the nation under highest numbers, and they usually do for every Star Wars movie, Harry Potter movie. Utah, we love going to the movies.
Yeah.
So I'm really
It's our
excited,
market.
and I want to see these theaters opening up again and making money and people getting their jobs back, because I'm not ready for the theater experience to go away. So I'm super excited to see Mortal Kombat this week. I know it's not a Disney movie, but I really want it to be a B movie. I want it to just be hokey and awful.
It looks
and
like
I
it's
and I
going to be an A+.
Right, but an
Val.
A+ in a bad way. Like, I don't want it to take itself too seriously. I don't want a Snyder cut, right? I just want Mortal Kombat in the hokiest, best way ever. Like, I want it to be a great action movie like Kong versus Godzilla, where this last one did not take itself too seriously. 2 movies ago, Godzilla took itself a little too serious. It got a little too serious in story. It was still great, but I liked how this one was just a great ride. And it was like an hour and a half. Like, it wasn't too long. But yeah, so can we now talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Let's dive in, folks.
We got about 20 minutes. All right. So last night was episode 5 or 6. 5.
5. We got 1 more to go.
And I have to say, I am loving this. I know that it's not your favorite, but I love these 2 characters. I love this kind of bromance that's not really a bromance. Like, they don't want to admit that they like working with each other, but they do. But last night had, and here's some spoilers if you haven't seen it yet, walk away for right now and then come back after you've seen it. And by the way, why haven't you watched it yet? But Val is now a character in Star Wars universe and the MCU, because my name is in Rogue One, although I die spoiler alert. And now I am also in a character in the MCU, and it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Like,
I knew you were
seriously,
gonna freak
when
out.
she walked on the screen last night, I'm laying in my bed just like enjoying this, and I jumped up and I'm like, what? And I love her so much, not to mention that I'm so happy that she's back working, because she was fighting cancer for a couple of years and she's back healthy. She looks great. And they have huge plans for her character, because her character is kind of a big character in the MCU that not a lot of people, especially like, you know, surface nerds, understand who her character is. But I love the fact, like, from now on, I am going to carry business cards that do not have anything on them around. And when I go places and they're like, can I get a card? I can hand it to them, walk away, and they're like, what? I'll contact you. All right. Like, I'll get a hold of you. But she plays Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. And she was only on for, you know, a couple minutes last night, but she was one of my favorite parts of the show. I also loved the part where his sister is now back in the story for a little bit, Sam's sister.
Yeah.
And every time the kids call him Uncle Sam, it makes me happy.
Star Spangled Banner.
It just makes me happy. But there were some really real parts last night. When they go back and see the original Captain America, if you haven't been watching the series, or if you have, what's his name? I can't think of the character's name.
Zemo.
No.
Sam.
No.
You're talking the other Isaiah?
Talking about Isaiah. So he goes back to visit Isaiah, and he brings the shield with him, and he says, you know, is that what I think it is? And he says, yes. He's like, leave it in the cover. He's like, that doesn't represent anything to me. And it creates a real struggle for Sam, because he said, you know, I wanted Sam to be Captain America. And now I'm understanding why they've created this whole story. And I know it's already been a comic book, so whatever, I haven't read it yet. But for me, watching this and experiencing this, when he says no self-respecting Black person would want to be Captain America either, that was like a really hard thing to recognize, I think, because I would have never recognized this, but the way that they show it and they kind of go over what has happened in the past is really a real moment. And then at the end of the episode, when Sam is talking to his sister and he says, you know, I understand why he feels that way, and I understand why anybody would take that side. He's like, but for me, if I just gave up right now and I didn't stand up for what I believed in, then everything that happened to him would have been done in vain, basically.
Yeah.
And so it shows that the two sides of this, and there's just a lot of emotion and a lot of past that I'm excited to see it unravel. So tell us why you hate it.
Well, first off, Kate, yeah, guys, again, send your hate mail to multiplayingpodcast@gmail.com.
And I'll just forward them right along to Ty.
You know, I'm just not a big fan of this troop, so I'm going to name them off. I'm not a Cap fan. Even with Steve Rogers, I'm not a Cap fan. I don't like Bucky. I don't like the Falcon. I don't like Black Widow. It's all...
You are creating some enemies right now.
You're asking me to sit and totally be engulfed and enjoy something that's like a secret agent thing versus going galactic and watching the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like comparable to these other characters and stories that they have, it's just, to me, it's just boring.
I think it's good to have well-rounded stories. I think and I understand how it's, I think the reason why I love this story so much is that they're making us question what a real hero is.
Yeah.
And I think that especially what's going on in the world, and what's been going on in the world for a really long time. It's not just what's going on right now, but what a real hero is, and someone that was created and made into a superhero, or someone that has been born, you know, with those, like Thor has been born with those powers, people that are in space that have these different things that we don't have. But I mean, people that we live around every single day, who is a real hero or not? And what do certain people do when given these powers? And I loved what the new Cap, Walker, what's his first name?
John Walker.
John Walker. It's like the most generic name ever. John Walker's friend who dies, spoiler alert, he says in last week's episode, he says, I think that when someone is given this power, they're just the more true part
True
of
to who they
themselves,
are.
true
Yeah.
who they are. And so we were like, okay, so is he going to take this and is he going to be more like Steve Rogers, or is he going to be more of a villain? And we know now, because there are past comics about this character, that he struggles. He is basically like the Anakin Skywalker of the MCU, because he was given these powers too late in life, before he was trained correctly. And so he's got all of this anger, animosity, and now someone has killed his best friend. And he feels, and the government that has made him who he is gave up on him. Basically said, we don't care about everything you've done in the past, which he is a decorated soldier that has really helped our country. We don't care about any of that. We're not taking care of you. We are discharging you, and you are not getting anything from us. That's basically like they spit on him last night.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, I think the way that we treat veterans in this country is not my favorite either. So if we want to get into that politics, I think they touch on a lot of stuff in this episode that you can see both sides of the rails. But it's a lot of stuff for you to, if you want to, after you watch the episode, you can actually have some really in-depth conversations about politics, about veterans, about war, about who you should believe in, about getting back at someone. Like, you know, what's the best way to take care of someone who has killed the people that you love? Is it okay for you to kill them? And so when Captain America kills someone with the shield in front of mass people,
and then you have
you have the blood dripping from that shield. And I love the camera angle because they're looking up at him instead of like Steve Rogers, you were always right here, you know, but him, you're looking up at him because he just did something, you know. Steve Rogers did have moments where he was passionate about things, but he always kept himself in check. But this new Captain America, who is not Captain America anymore, but is creating his own version of Captain America, is, I think, a little bit more who we really are. Could we keep ourselves in check all the time?
Steve Rogers had what was special about him before he was pumped full of superheroes, super soldier serum.
And that's why he was chosen.
He was looking out for the little guys when he was still one of the little guys.
Mm-hmm.
This guy thought he needed the super soldier serum to become more.
Yeah, he felt inadequate.
Again, spoiler, guys, if you haven't watched, you have... I'm terrible with their names. I can't ever remember it. It's the troop from Wakanda.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's a funky name. I promise I'll get it down. But
Wakanda ladies.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes, was watching them beat the trash out of John. Like, he has this ego that's like, I'm Captain America, do what I say kind of thing.
How about the moment last night, though, when they freaking use Falcon as a bat to hit Captain America, John Walker, out of the air? Did he just use Falcon as a freaking bat?
But yeah, so the scene where John gets beat up by the Wakandans, and then that fight between Sam and Bucky and John are probably my two favorite things out of this series. Oh, let's talk about the real hero and awesome character of this series, the Baron.
Yeah, I want his jacket. Where can I get this jacket?
Wish.
I want this jacket. So, no, I am loving where they are going with him and his character. And that's funny because in the last 24 hours, I've had to watch 3 movies with all of them in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because Sebastian Stan had a movie called Monday that opened up yesterday. It's not good. Don't go see it. And then Mackie had a movie that opened up on Netflix this week, and I watched it last night. It's not good. Don't watch it. But then after I watched that movie, I watched Baron, what's his name, in Rush. And that's an older movie where he plays a race car driver. And he's amazing. I love that movie. But don't go see those new movies. Stick right here to Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, with Zemo, I think we're going to get some cool stuff with Zemo.
And I like how they're playing it slow with him. Like
Yeah.
they're just letting him kind of figure it out. So they taken him back to Wakanda where he's supposed to live out his days. But I don't think that's the end of it with
No.
him. But my stomach sunk last night when Falcon's wings got torn off. But and this was like so Bucky shows back up in his hometown when they're fixing up the boat with his sister. And I love when he's flirting with the sister and
Yeah, with
immediately
Sarah.
Sam's like, don't flirt with my sister. But he brings him a case, which is similar to the case that Spider-Man receives when he gets his new costume, new outfit, new whatever. And of course they go to show it. And I'm like, Dave, you're not going to see it tonight. He's like, hey, they can't not show it to us tonight. I'm like, we're not going to see it. And of course they fade into cut. Did you watch the end after the credits?
Well, of course I've watched it. Who
I don't
are you
know.
talking to, Val?
Some people
Who
don't.
are you talking to?
But then we see John Walker putting together his own Captain America shield. But it's made out of regular metal.
Yeah, it's not vibranium. Here or
yeah.
Is that the right metal that I'm talking about? Yeah,
vibranium.
Here's especially I think we're gonna get a season 2 for sure.
Oh yeah.
Especially we're only 6 episodes in season 1. You're gonna see the changing of the tides here. So you have Joaquin who says, hey, you forget your wings. This is where we're getting the shifts. Sam now has Cap's shield that's rightfully his.
And a new Cap outfit with wings.
And a Wakandan Cap out. No, I don't think it's going to have wings.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if they were going to give him the wings still because he doesn't really have any superpower, so he kind of needs to have a jetpack or wings.
They have versions of him with and
I
without
haven't looked it up
wings.
Because I don't want to. I want them to surprise me. I know this is all written out in comic books, but you can tell me what you think.
What I think we're going to have next, you're going to have Wakandan like technology. So guys, think back to Black Panther. He just wears the single necklace and then kind of like Tony Stark as well, and suit just appears. This, I feel he's going to have something. I'm assuming like dog tags, something.
Okay.
That, will visually be there, but then he can fully activate his new Cap suit. And it's going to have more than what Steve Rogers had. It's going to have, again, Wakandan technology behind it.
Yeah.
So maybe he's going to be able to do what T'Challa can do, where he absorbs blows and then he can shoot that force back out. Because
that would be awesome.
Obviously, he's not a super soldier like John.
And I'm really happy that he's not.
And he doesn't want it, though. That's the thing, too. He wants to be the best version of him, kind of like Steve was.
Yeah.
And then take on the mantle of something.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
And this is a question that Dave and I brought up last night. So as we're watching it and he's practicing with the shield for it to come back to him with Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier, I understand, can take that amount of whiplash back. But why isn't it breaking Sam's arm?
I think as soon as you see him training, rewatch the scene where he's training.
He was training after. I mean, I know he had bruises on
there. So I think his entire arm.
But okay. I mean, because I know he has muscle and I know he's training and all that kind of stuff. But I was just like, how is his arm not broken?
Because vibranium is super light.
Okay.
That's the thing you need to think about. This is not like some heavy iron piece of metal that you're throwing and it's like 200-300 pounds shooting back at you.
But I did love that they showed him not getting it.
Yeah.
like he's human. He's practicing. He's not going to immediately get it. And when it goes back to hit the house, I'm like, oh, please just take out the door. Like all the way, like, oh crap, sorry, the door's gone.
But you're going to have the shift where Sam is now Captain America. Joaquin is going to become our new Falcon.
Okay. I was wondering what they were going to do with him. If they were... Okay.
Joaquin's going to become the new Falcon. And then John, I feel down the road, I think they can play with this. I think John will become... Well, so in the comics, he loses the title of Captain America. Right, becomes just U.S. agent.
Okay.
But then I think they can play it into him becoming Captain Hydra.
Okay.
So it's like
do you think
Hydra.
He's gonna go all the way that way? Okay.
Well, Val is involved with Hydra.
Oh yeah, that's what I figured right off
The
the bat.
Madame of Hydra. So
Yeah.
like I think she says whatever is the second best option that you've ever choice that you've ever made in your life. The first one will be to answer my phone call. And so I think that she's gonna be a main Hydra player and that he's gonna go into that role.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I can't believe you're not excited about at least this turn of events. Come on.
I didn't see one mutant pop up.
Oh my gosh. It can't all be about mutants.
It has to though.
Obviously they are all mutants. Everybody that was in that they've taken the serum, they are a form of mutant. And I can't believe the whole time I didn't realize the leader of this group was from Rogue One. Like I only figured that out 2 weeks ago. I'm like, why does she look so familiar? Because she's in freaking Rogue One.
Yeah, she's one of the kids. Yeah, she's the kid leader.
Yeah. But yeah, so I like her. But yeah, I mean, I think that we will as we get into it, because they keep talking about how they were trying all of these different things and things didn't always work out the way they thought it was going to. So I think we've only seen just the baseline of this.
Okay, you can't sit and tease me with X-Men Easter eggs and like little nods
to you in freaking WandaVision, and you're not pissed at WandaVision?
Because I love WandaVision. That's what I'm saying. WandaVision gave me so much more.
This is giving us more. It's just not what you want.
No,
I love this. I love this.
Okay, and this is a reach. This is okay. We tested things and they didn't go the way. That's a really, really long reach to hint like Weapon X and stuff. Like really long reach for the Weapon X project and involving mutants in the military. But I need some more.
I think you have a favorite child and you are playing favoritism.
Oh, yes. Loki's coming out in July, June or July. Is it June 11th, July 11th?
I think it's July.
Yeah. And I'm hyped as can be.
No, wait, because Black Widow's coming out in July, so Loki's got to be coming out in June, right? Can you look that up? Because they wouldn't have them coming out right at the same time, would they?
Don't know. Might connect it. Let's see. June 11th.
June 11th. Okay, so we've...
And I am just
I'm so stoked for Loki. But I like all of them. As much as I'm not excited about another Guardians of the Galaxy, I still love the original Guardians of the Galaxy, and I like the role that those characters play. But I think you're playing favoritism, which is fine. Like, it's a free country. You can do whatever you want. But I don't know. I like how all of these different pieces fit together. We've got your mutants. We've got people from out of this world galaxies, and then we have the humans that live on Earth and how they all work together and how now they're intertwining, where we're not going to be able to see a lot of where one ends and one begins. I like this idea.
It's only proving my 3-tier thing that I said that was going to happen, right? Which is pretty cool. I said, here's what we're going to have: 3 tiers. Center tier, we're going to have Earthbound stuff that's going on, which Bucky and Sam and everyone's going through right now, and the Flag Smashers, that's total Earth problems and situations. Loki now is going to be freaking, oh my gosh, I can't tell you how excited I am for this, because that's galactic. That's the new one. That's the galactic side that's going to expand.
But it's pre Endgame, isn't it? Isn't Loki all of this pre Endgame?
Yes and no. So the way that you look at it, at Endgame, he gets the Tesseract. The Loki from the New York battle disappears. And then kind of like how the what's her name?
But it's like second dimension Loki, right? It's not original Loki. It's second dimension Loki.
Yeah, it's like second dimension Loki, because original Loki died. He got the life choked out of him.
Dead.
This is like the unrepentive, still want to take over Asgard Loki, where we're going to see him maybe go through another, change where he's like, oh, okay, I really don't need to rule Asgard and I'm with my brother kind of thing. But it's kind of like the Sorcerer Supreme when Hulk's trying to get the stone from her. Mm-hmm. It's like, look, this timeline is ours, and then you take something away from it, this
And now
wrinkles,
there's a
this
whole
wrinkles,
nother
this
timeline.
wrinkles.
Yeah.
Loki removing himself from New York like that has now opened all these different spans, and that's basically the series is him going to be fixing that. So I think we're going to see some really cool stuff. But
I
as
think
far
we're
as
already seeing it.
we saw it with WandaVision,
We're not ever going to agree on this, and that's
we're
okay.
never going to
That's
agree
okay,
on
'cause
this.
we can still like each other and not
I
agree.
and I will go into Black Widow with you guys, amped up, full hearted, with a notepad, trying to be like Kay.
And I'm going into Black Widow not as an MCU superhero movie. I'm going into Black Widow as an action movie, like as if I'm going to see a different version of a James Bond film. So I think
James Bond. I said it.
Okay, well, I'm doing the show by myself now. I don't even know how that's a real thing. I just shut him up. What the crap did you just say?
I am not a 007 fan. And everyone who talks to me about, on the Nintendo 007 was the most hype, get out of here.
I don't play Nintendo anymore, so I don't know.
But I'm saying, like, movies, games, I have never been a James Bond fan. Like,
I think it's just because you're so young.
No, even the new ones. I hate the new ones.
All right. Well, I think we're done today with everything. You can like what you like and hate what you hate, but hate's a really strong word. So you just not enjoy them.
When I say hate, I mean I can't stand to listen, watch. When I hear the dun 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 dun.
Who hurt you when you were a kid when it came to this TV show or this movie series?
It's really bad dislike for this franchise.
All right. Well, I'm going into it like I'm watching an action movie, like Die Hard. Like I'm not going in wanting to connect this story to the MCU because I feel like if they really wanted to do that, it would have been done years ago. So I'm just going in. I love action films. You know how much I love action films. I'm just going in for a good action movie. I love the people that are in it, the actors. I'm excited to learn more about these characters. I've done no back story looking up into these new characters, so I'm going in with fresh eyes, and then as soon as I see the movie, I'm going to deep dive into where all of these characters fit in the MCU.
As much as you don't want to connect this to the MCU,
it will, but what I'm saying,
there's a reason that they're making a movie for her.
Right,
after she's already died. I think we're gonna have one or two super, super big things.
Oh no, and that's great, which means that I'll be super excited. But what I'm saying is some people are just already hating it before they see it because we're angry that it hasn't come out yet. That whatever. But I'm going in I already love the coloring of the film just by looking at the trailers. I love the cinematography. I love the costuming. So I'm excited just about this action film and whatever bonus MCU things come with it, I'm going to freak out. But I'm not putting like a whole bunch of if Spider-Man 3 sucks, I'm going to be pissed.
Oh, no.
Like that. But you know what I mean? Like I have a whole different expectation going into that than I do this. I'm super excited to see Black Widow finally in her own movie, a strong woman like getting up and kicking butt. And I hope that they keep her, this character that they've built up. But I just want to see a good action film. That's what I'm going in. So. All right, people. Next week, we're going to be back. Are we talking Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Let's talk Hunchback of Notre Dame. I've been feeling
We're going to go classic. And it's almost been, I think it was 2 years this week that the actual Notre Dame burnt down.
Yeah.
So it's almost 2 years from that day, which is kind of a sad day, but they're rebuilding it, and hopefully I'll get to see it one day. But yeah, let's go classic Disney cartoon.
Notre Dame, I'm all over it.
Next week, look for it. We will, this time, we will schedule the video so that you guys know when the show is going to be. And of course, we see that you're watching us. I can see the number up there, but we would love for you guys to comment and interact with us if you're watching if you're watching live, if you're listening later. Thank you so much for listening. Subscribe, come back, give us any feedback that you'd like. Send all your hate mail for Ty to multiplanepodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.